Few figures in history evoke as much mystery and controversy as Grigori Rasputin. A mystic, a healer, a scourge to the aristocracy, his very name conjures images of dark intrigue and fatalistic prophecy. Today, we unravel the life and the death of a man who seemed almost immortal, whose shocking demise still raises more questions than answers. In this episode of La Storia, we journey through the hidden corridors of Imperial Russia, examining the rise, influence, and ultimately the bizarre end of Rasputin, a man who defied death, or so it seemed. Born into peasant obscurity in a remote Siberian village in 1869, Rasputin's early years were shrouded in the kind of mysticism and folklore that still lingers in Russian tales. He was not a man of refined education or noble birth, yet his charisma and uncanny intuition quickly set him apart. By his early 20s, tales of miraculous healings and prophetic visions began to spread through the villages. It wasn't long before whispers of his mystical abilities reached the halls of power in St. Petersburg. In the waning days of the Romanov dynasty, Rasputin arrived at court, an unlikely advisor with an almost hypnotic influence over Tsarina Alexandra. As the Tsarina battled the stress of a crumbling empire and the weight of personal loss, she found solace in Rasputin's seemingly divine interventions. Historians debate whether Rasputin truly possessed mystical gifts, or if his influence was merely the product of desperate hope and political manipulation. Nonetheless, his ascent from obscurity to the center of Russian power was meteoric, and every word he uttered was scrutinized by both allies and enemies. As Rasputin's influence over the imperial family grew, so did the scandals that swirled around him. Court insiders spoke in hushed tones about his licentious behavior and alleged debauchery, which contrasted sharply with his image as a holy man. Even as Russia faced unprecedented political and social turmoil, Rasputin's presence became both a comfort and a curse. Many believed that his interventions, however unconventional, were a balm for the ailing monarchy. Others argued that his continued influence was undermining the stability of the entire nation. The tension was palpable. Nobles and politicians, fearful that his power was poisoning the heart of the empire, began to conspire against him. Rumors of betrayal, dark rituals, and unholy alliances spread throughout the court, painting a portrait of a man as dangerous as he was enigmatic. One fact, however, remained undeniable. Rasputin was a master of survival, a man who seemed to cheat death at every turn. But such resilience, as many would soon discover, can also foreshadow a dramatic downfall. In the winter of 1916, a group of conspirators, nobles, politicians, and military officers alike, resolved that Rasputin's influence must end. The plan they hatched was as elaborate as it was desperate. The first stage of the plot was shrouded in ritual and foreboding. The conspirators invited Rasputin to a secluded residence under the guise of reconciliation, serving him food and drink laced with poison, expecting him to succumb quietly. But, as legend would have it, Rasputin did not die that night. Witness accounts vary, yet one common thread emerges. After the poisoned meal, Rasputin exhibited signs of distress, but he fought back with an almost inhuman vigor. When the poison appeared to take effect, the conspirators resorted to violence. Gunshots rang out in the quiet corridors of that fateful evening. Yet even as bullets struck him, Rasputin's body seemed to defy the finality of death. In the ensuing chaos, he was dragged to a river and cast into the icy waters. Local legends, embellished over time, claim that his body was recovered days later, fueling further debate among historians and conspiracy theorists alike. Some believe his seemingly indestructible nature was a testament to mystical powers. Others contend his survival was merely the product of sheer will and circumstance. Regardless, his death was as dramatic and multifaceted as the man himself. A series of poison, gunfire, and the unforgiving cold of the Russian winter. In the wake of Rasputin's death, Russia spiraled further into revolution. Many of his enemies argued that his demise was the turning point that sealed the fate of the Romanov dynasty. Yet, despite the many theories that have emerged over the decades, the true nature of Rasputin's life and death remains shrouded in uncertainty. Was he a genuine mystic, or merely a charlatan who exploited desperate hopes? Did he wield supernatural power, or was he simply a man caught in the whirlwind of history? These questions have sparked countless debates among historians, some poring over archival documents and eyewitness testimonies, while others turn to folklore and legend. Today, Rasputin's legacy endures not only as a symbol of the decadence and downfall of Imperial Russia, but also as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power and the human quest for meaning in the mysterious. In every retelling of his life, Rasputin looms large, a reminder that history is rarely simple, and that sometimes the answers are even stranger than the legends. Grigori Rasputin remains one of history's most controversial and enigmatic figures, a man whose turbulent life and dramatic death continue to fuel endless speculation. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the life and death of the mystic of Russia. If you found this story compelling, please like, comment, and subscribe for more in-depth explorations here on Lostoria. Until next time, remember, history is filled with questions, and sometimes the answers are even stranger than the legends.